Hey guys, Chris the Midwest Bass Hunter, and today I want to talk to you about a new lure I have called a Zero Gravity Jig. Before we get into that, if you're new to my channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button, hit that little bell so you don't miss any of these type of lure reviews, lure and gear reviews, fishing tips and tricks, and just good fishing content. Make sure you do that. All right, so we're going to talk about the Zero Gravity Jig. What is it? Well, it's a unique new jig. I've never used one before. I got one of these in a bait crate, and it was pretty neat. And I thought, well, let's try this out. So here's what it looks like. You can see it looks like a jig. It's pretty large. You know, it's a pretty good size. I'd say if this was a normal jig, I would, guess at about 3/4 of an ounce. This is actually 0.21 ounces, so it's less than 1/4 of an ounce, this jig. It's lead free. It says it's got a lead-free design. It weighs only 0.21 ounces. And it says it has a fall rate of 1 foot every 3 seconds. So when you throw it in the water, it's going to fall 1 foot every 3 seconds, which, that's pretty slow. That's going to be definitely in your finesse territory. And they kind of advertise this as a good lure to use after cold fronts or things like that. Times where the fish are going to be a little bit more finicky and they're going to be a little bit slower. They also say when jig fishing, a lot of times the fish are going to hit on the fall. So when the jig is falling back to the bottom. So when you prolong the fall, more fish. That's the idea behind it. Now, I've never used one. I don't know if that's true or not, or if that's really going to be a big factor. But anyways, let's get into how this lure looks. This is kind of a crawdad color, and they have several different colors to choose from. This is the one I got in my bait crate, so that's the one I have. And you can see it's got a pretty nice paint job. It's kind of orange on the bottom and a little bit darker on top, and a nice silicone skirt. It's got a little bit of metal flake in the silicone skirt, and it's a high quality skirt. It's a nice skirt. And it looks like it's one of these that you can easily change out. So you could put a new skirt on there pretty easy if this one wore out. It's got it says it has a 4/0 VMC black nickel jig hook. VMC obviously makes good hooks. And then actually it says Easy Compression Skirt is the brand for the skirt, which I've never heard of that before, but it looks kind of like the skirt on like a chatterbait. And then it has this little weed guard to keep from snagging it up on things. Sometimes on my jigs, I like to cut that a little bit short. They make them pretty long, and this one's no different. It is a little bit longer than maybe it needs to be. Now, they say the makers of this, which is actually a company called Catch Outdoor Supply Company. And they do make other stuff. They make soft plastics for sure. I know those two. This item and soft plastics, I know they make. For sure. I don't know what else they make, but kind of a smaller bait company. But at any rate, they say that you can fish this like a normal jig. You can fish it you can use a Carolina rig on it. So, and I imagine you'd want to do that if you're fishing deeper water, since it falls so slowly. You fish it with a Carolina rig in that deeper water to get it down to the bottom. But then you can still fish it kind of in that finesse style where it you work the rig and then it's going to fall back down slow. They say you can fish it as a jerk bait, use it as a topwater wake bait, use it as a swim jig, all those different things. So it looks like, it could be pretty versatile. So I'm not sure all the different places you can buy this bait. I know you can get it at Bass Pro Shops. I'm not sure of any other stores. I haven't seen it in. Obviously, you can order it online. From the company itself, I imagine, or I've seen it on Tackle Warehouse, and it actually is pretty cheap. It's only $4.99, so that's not bad at all. So only thing we have left to do with this bait, take it out, see how it does on the water. Now we'll show you how slowly this jig falls. also show you underwater kind of how it looks like. You can kind of run it like a swim jig. I don't know, it's not like it's that great when you do it like that, because you kind of lose the action of the, the fact that it's so light. You can swim any jig. So that's really no different, it's just lighter. But you can also fish it like a jerk bait, which is really interesting. So we'll kind of show you how that looks underwater and kind of how you want to fish that with the rod. So just kind of cast it out there. If you start working it right away, it's not going to sink. It's not going to work like a jerk bait where it sinks down. You got to kind of let it sink down a little bit, because it's going to take a while because it's light. Then you just start fishing it like a jerk bait. And you can see underwater that it darts around real erratically. To me, I think that's the most unique part about this bait. So, what do I say about the zero gravity jig? Well, for as cheap as it is, I think it's definitely worth getting a couple and trying them out. They're really light, they fall really slow, so if the fish aren't biting a normal jig, maybe slow down your presentation, try this out. And then you can fish it with like that jerk bait action. Now we had a little creature bait on here, but you can put all kinds of different trailers on here. You can put like a swim bait trailer, or whatever you wanted on there. Try different things. So for the price, I definitely would get one of these and try it out. The one drawback to this is it's so light, sometimes it's kind of hard to cast. So anyways, thanks for watching today. Make sure you subscribe, hit that like button, and keep watching for good fishing stuff and fishing reviews.